you noticed how people get incredibly angry when you tell them the truth? Yeah, you tell them the truth about whatever, right? And a lot of times they will become extremely upset. Now, of course, this doesn't happen always. It happens once in a while, in certain situations. It's important to understand what's going on. It's important to understand it because I bet a lot of times you've been the one who gets really upset when you learn some truth, right? And it's important to understand why this is happening to you, why it's happening to other people, so you can control it and manage it. You can control it in yourself and manage it insofar as other people. Understand what's going on and therefore predict when this anger will subside, and you can just move on. You see, getting angry at the truth happens when two things are going on. Number one, you believe something that is erroneous. And number two, the thing that you believe that is wrong is important to you. See, suppose I think that, it's going to rain tomorrow, and tomorrow comes and it doesn't rain, right? Am I going to be incredibly upset that my belief that it was going to rain tomorrow didn't come true? No, because whether it rains or not is trivial, right? It's not going to matter. Oh, it didn't rain and I was sure it was going to, and so I'm so angry and upset at the world, and God, you did not bring the rain as I expected. I mean, come on, right? Nobody's going to say that. But suppose, for instance, that you thought that your woman was loyal and it turns out that she's a whore. Imagine that she's gobbled down, 17 cocks in 6 months or something of the sort, right? I mean, you're going to be pretty disappointed, right? Of course you are. Basically, what we're talking about is the reaction you will have when you feel that you have been fooled. When you believed one thing and it turned out to be completely different, and the thing you believed in was really important to you, and you'd probably been led to believe this thing by somebody telling you something, right? Somebody basically, feeding you bullshit that you bought, until finally you discovered the truth and you realized that it was all bullshit, and this very important thing to you is not as you thought it to be. That's when you're going to get really angry. You're going to get incredibly upset. And in your anger, you are likely to do things that are foolish or foolhardy. Not always, of course, but sometimes it can happen. Okay? Now, this is the thing. When you realize that you have been fooled, when you realize that what you believed is very different from what is actually going on, and you become very angry, and you become angry at the truth. And more often than not, you'll become angry at the truth teller, at the guy who's telling you the truth about a given situation, right? You'll become very angry with him or her. You'll become very angry at whatever the fuck is going on. Well, the thing that you have to do is simply write out that anger. Just write it out, but don't do anything foolish during that period. A lot of guys say that what you should do is bottle in your anger. If you realize that you've been fooled, if you realize that the truth is far different from what you believed, you should just rein in your anger and control it like a wild stallion, right? You shouldn't let go of the reins. I completely disagree. I think that what you should do is just express your anger, express your frustration and disappointment, but try to express it in ways that are harmless or aren't going to cause any lasting damage to you. Because you see, anger, rage, is a natural emotion. And it is foolish to deny these natural emotions. Rather, you should channel them. It's like water. When you're trying to control water, you don't fight the water, you build a dam, you build channels and canals and what have you, so that the water does what you want it to do, not flood you and overwhelm you. You see what I'm saying? You become incredibly angry when you realize something, channel it, let off that steam, just get it out of your system. It'll take a few hours, maybe a day or two, or maybe a week or a month even. It depends on the disappointment. But let it out of your system before you start making big decisions. It's better to have, ridden out the rage, gotten it out of your system, and then act, than to start acting willy-nilly at the behest of your rage, controlled by your rage. Because like I always tell you guys, the last thing you should ever do is be controlled by your emotions, including rage. Rage is the worst emotion of them all because a lot of times it makes you do things that you think are just incredibly good ideas, and then 5 minutes later, once the rage has passed, you realize that it was the worst thing you could have done. Once you have let go of this rage, have let it gone through you, then you act. And then you act rationally. You act rationally and understand what's going on. Understand that you believed one thing and the truth was very different. And that's how you have to proceed. It happens to all of us. And as you get older, these disappointments between what you thought and what is actually going on, it's not that they're going to become wider, although they do become wider, but what will happen is that you'll sort of get used to it. You'll build up an immunity. And so these disappointments, which are quite natural, well, you'll be able to ride them out and not be in the grips of rage, not be beholden and controlled by rage. You see what I'm saying? Now, insofar as other people are concerned, and perhaps other people who are angry at you for pointing out the truth, well, that's a different story. You see, it's happened to me countless times that I've pointed out the truth about something and people got all upset with me. I mean, they really hated my guts, right? I mean, they wanted to kill me and insulted me and blah, blah, blah. I've been the focus of this many, many times because it's my nature. I'm the little boy in the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. I'm the little boy who points and says, hey, that man is not wearing any clothes. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I've always been that guy because I always pay attention to what's going on and often is not realized before anybody else that, somebody's pulling a fast one. And that's caused me a lot of problems and brought me a lot of hate and a lot of just, shit flinging my way for having told the truth. But it's taught me how to manage people who are in the grips of this anger when they've been shown the truth. What you have to do is treat them like a tantrumy child. See these drawings here? They're my children's, right? My daughter's 5 and my son is about to turn 4, right? Now, these drawings, they're lovely, they're beautiful, but to me, they represent me, weathering through their tantrums, because adults are just like children when they become disappointed and they throw a tantrum. And what you have to do is sort of like understand that they are suffering this emotion and just let it ride out. Let them get it out of their system and not take it personally. When they fling shit your way because you've pointed out the truth, you got to realize it's not you that they're angry with. It's them. Because that's the truth. See, when you realize that you thought one thing and the truth was radically different, you're angry at the messenger who told you this, you're angry at whatever circumstances and what have you, but ultimately what you're really angry with, or the person you are truly angry with, is yourself. Because you realize you were fooled. You believed one thing erroneously, and you put a lot of emotional chips in this belief, whether you realized it or not. You believed one thing, and it turned out that that belief was false, and you become very angry. And you direct it at other people, the people who told you the truth. You blame it on circumstances. You blame it on society or some bullshit like that, or white privilege. I mean, where the fuck you think that comes from, right? You blame it on everybody else. And slowly but surely you'll start to realize that the one you have to blame is yourself. You got taken in. You believe something wrong. And that's very difficult for people to accept. It's very difficult for people to accept the fact that they were wrong. And you just have to let them just get it out of their system, weather the storm, understand that the shit that they're flinging your way is not really you. They don't give a shit about you. They give a shit about themselves. And that anger with themselves expresses itself outwardly. Don't take it personally. And don't fold either. Because a lot of times, there'll be this urge that when you tell the truth and everybody gets upset with you, there'll be this urge to fold, to say, oh no, right, you're right and I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. You got to control that urge. You got to control that impulse. It's natural. You don't want to be in the firing line. But in the long run, when you're proven right, everything will be aces. Everything will be going your way, and people will always remember that you stood up and spoke the truth when it mattered. Because that's the thing. At the end of the day, all that matters is the truth. Any lies, any bullshit, it doesn't matter. It's short-term obfuscation, any kind of lie or bullshit. Short-term obfuscation, but in the end, the truth always comes out. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but it ultimately does come out. And the people who stood by the truth and spoke the truth when it mattered, people remember them and respect them. And the people who told lies, they always get found out. Always. What's that saying? The truth will out? Absolutely goddamn right.